Mojang has just announced the reveal for the 1.21 Minecraft update release date. The version has been announced to release on June 13th, which is just a mere 2 weeks away, and that is why today we're going to be taking a look at every single feature inside of the 1.21 update and show you how to get it, what it is, and pretty much just explain the entire update to you so that you can be as excited for it as I am. Minecraft 1.21 adds a lot of different things, but most importantly is the trial chamber. Besides a few other technical aspects and changes to mob farms, the trial chamber is where everything in this update revolves around and where you find pretty much every new item and or feature. So there are multiple ways to find it. First of all is through cartographer villagers. So when the update rolls around, I would highly recommend you have some villagers on standby so that you can make them cartographers real quick, get them up to level 3, and buy yourself a Trial Explorer map. Using this map, you can go ahead and locate the nearest trial chamber to your player's location. Or if you just don't want to work with villagers, you can go over to chunkbase.com, go to apps, you can click See Map App, and then you can go ahead and select your version. For now, since it is only an experimental, we'll set it to an experimental version. And then from there, you can go ahead and select trial chambers only. And now you'll be able to see every single trial chamber in your world. And if you click on it, it shows you the exact coordinates of that trial chamber for you to go and discover. There are a lot of trial chambers in your worlds, and a lot of them appear to be found under the ocean. So do keep that in mind when searching for your trial chambers. Now, when it comes to raiding your first trial chamber, there are a few things you're going to want to keep in mind. First of all, in terms of armor, you can get away with probably base iron armor, but it is going to make things a lot more difficult, so I highly recommend diamond armor. Now, you don't need to enchant it, but if you do, I would of course recommend full protection 4, and then feather falling 4, because the breezes launch you up into the air, and if you can negate any, if not all, fall damage from that launch attack, you will be saving yourself a whole lot of headaches. Another thing I recommend is, of course, a shield to block any and all incoming attacks from these spawners. I also recommend a axe, a decent axe, mainly so that you can scrape away the oxidation layers on the copper bulbs. This way you're going to be able to expose a lot more light and see a lot more things without needing to carry torches. I also would of course recommend a very good sword. Of course, just base sharpness 5, there aren't really any special enchantments that you're going to want to defeat the mobs inside of here. And then looting 3 is always a nice bonus for getting yourself those breeze rods. And if you really care about the poison arrows from the new bogged mob, it'll help you get those as well. Finally, I recommend a pretty good pickaxe, mainly just so that you can go ahead and grab all of the brand new blocks, because every single brand new block is inside of here, from all of the new tough variants to all of the brand new copper variants. And if you don't even care about the variants, can we just take a second to admire just how much copper is actually inside one of these? This is just one wall of what is a absolutely massive trial chamber. So if you need copper, you best be coming to one of these with a mighty good pickaxe. Now, in terms of loot, there are a lot of different things you can get from these brand new trial chambers. First of all, there are 2 brand new armor trims that you can find. First of all is the bolt armor trim. This is the one on the left. Very nice. I like the very nice details of what looks like bolts that were smacked into it with a mallet. And then the second one you can find is the flow armor trim. That is the purple one and the one that you are seeing on your right. Now, to go along with these 2 new armor trims, there are 3 new pottery sherd types. There is the scrape, the guster, and the flow sherd. And then there is also the guster and the flow banner patterns. The guster, of course, being the breeze, and the flow being the swirl. Now, along with all these special rewards, you can also obtain items such as breeze rods from killing the breeze. You can craft these down into wind charges, which you can use to launch yourself all around. Truly an amazing item, and I think it's a lot of fun. Adds all kinds of new movement in the game. Now, when you kill a breeze, you get the breeze rod, and from the ominous trial vaults, you can obtain yourself a heavy core. Now, when you combine the heavy core with a breeze rod in a crafting menu, that is how you get the mace. Now, the mace base damage is not that much, but the mace's main bonus, damage multiplier, depending on how many blocks you have fallen. Because of this multiplier, if you fall from a high enough altitude, you are able to one-shot kill a warden, as you just saw right there. And should you use any of the mace's brand new enchantments, which consists of Breach, which goes up to level 4, and what it essentially does is negates a player's armor protection when you're hitting them with the mace. There's also Density, which goes up to a level of 5. Density increases the damage multiplier per block that you fall while holding the mace. So for instance, you just saw me fall over 300 blocks with that mace to instantly kill that warden. With the Density enchantment, that could be closer to 200 blocks, maybe even a little less. And then finally, there is Wind Burst. Now, Wind Burst goes up to an enchantment level of 3, and Wind Burst essentially means that whenever I hit a mob with my mace attack successfully, a Wind Burst will appear at my feet and launch me right back up into the air to give me another chance to hit another mob below me. Now, when putting these on your mace, Wind Burst can go on with any enchantment, and then Breach or Density can go on with it. Now, the main key is you can no longer put Density and Breach on the same mace, so you have to choose whether you want that damage multiplier or you want that armor protection negation. But there are two amazing mace options. You can have Wind Burst and Breach, or Wind Burst and Density. And of course, you can put your normal books on here, meaning that you can put Unbreaking on here, and you can put Mending on your mace, of course. Now, for anybody wondering if you can put Knockback, Fire Aspect, or Looting on your mace, the answer to that is no. You cannot put Knockback on a mace. You can, however, put Fire Aspect 2 on your mace, but no, you cannot put Looting or Knockback on your mace. It's a real shame. If you could put Looting on the mace, it would truly be like the ultimate weapon. But no, if you want Looting, you still have to have a sword. But for anybody wondering, you can put Fire Aspect 2 on your mace. I don't know for how long they're going to allow that, because considering the fact that you can't put any other normal sword enchantments on it, Fire Aspect kind of seems a little weird that they allowed that, but I'm not going to complain. I'll happily accept it. But yeah, you can put Fire Aspect on it. And for anybody wondering what the Wind Charge burst looks like, yeah, you fall, you hit a mob, you get launched right back up in the air. It's really cool and a whole lot of fun. Also, before I forget to mention it, inside of the trial chambers, you will also be able to obtain 3 brand new music discs for your game. Now, the next aspect of 1.21 that we need to talk about is Pillager Outposts. More specifically, Pillager Outpost Captains, wherever the Pillager Captain just went, because there's been a huge fundamental change to how these guys function. Previously, whenever you killed a Pillager Captain, it would just give you Bad Omen. Now, when you kill a Pillager Captain, you get no effect. Instead, it still drops its banner, and it gives you Ominous Bottles. Now, these Ominous Bottles, when you drink them, this is what gives you the Bad Omen effect. As you see right there, I have Bad Omen, and if I enter a village, it will still start a raid, but now the main difference is if I enter a trial chamber with this Bad Omen effect, I will start what is known as an Ominous Trial. Now, the Ominous Trial works the exact same as the normal trials. You just have the option to get better loot and different keys for rarer and more valuable vaults. But the main thing is this completely changes how raid farms will work, because you're not going to be able to just go AFK now, because you have to drink this in order to get the effect. So if you did plan on building a raid farm right now, maybe you should wait until after the update. Or if you have no problem just kind of having to sit there and drink one here or there, you could still go ahead and build one, but I'd highly recommend that you wait until after the update comes out to build a brand new raid farm. However, if you already have one, I highly recommend that within the next 2 weeks, you go ahead and use that thing as much as possible, just every single night, AFK at it, get as much loot as possible, because they're going to have some serious rate nerfs and issues once this update rolls out. The same thing applies to any existing mob farms that you may have. Now, I'm not talking about spawner farms, okay? Things that use mob spawners are a-okay, and pretty much any other structure-based farm is a-okay. This means that prismarine farms and other farms of that sort should work just fine. Iron farms will work great, but basic mob farms are going to have some problems because 1.21 is fixing the way that mobs spawn on blocks in Bedrock Edition. Previously, they always spawned on a corner of a block. Now, I'm not entirely sure which corner it is that they normally spawned on. I believe it is the southwest, but whichever corner it is completely and utterly irrelevant now because mobs are from this point on going to be spawning in the dead smack center of the block. Meaning that you are no longer going to be able to have mobs spawn inside of another portal and instantly get teleported away. You're no longer going to be able to have mobs just spawn in with like a glass block above their head and just get pushed off the block into your kill chamber. No longer will any of that work, meaning that mob farms are going to need a serious makeover. So if you are building a brand new mob farm, I highly recommend that you wait till the update comes out because it's not going to work. It just won't work. And if you do already have a mob farm, you should go ahead and abuse it. Just use it as much as you possibly can before this update comes out, because when it does, your mob farm will break. Moving away from the technical changes of this update, first of all, there are over 20 brand new paintings coming to the game, ranging from 1x1 to 4x4 sizes. Every single one of these paintings are truly beautiful and amazing, and I highly recommend that you make some room in your bases for these when they come out. Along with those, there are also multiple brand new variations of tough. We have polished tough, tough bricks, and then normal tough block variations, along with the chiseled tough and tough bricks. There are also brand new copper variations. We are going to have copper grates, doors, trapdoors, chiseled copper, and copper bulbs. All of these, of course, have their 4 different stages. You're going to have your oxidized version, you're going to have your weathered version, and you're going to have your exposed version. There are also going to be the 4 waxed variations of all of those. So if you just type copper in your creative menu now, that list goes on forever. There are so many different copper blocks now. It's truly, truly amazing. Especially as somebody who loves, and I mean loves to build with copper. This update is amazing. And if you're like me, this is the update for you. Now we can go ahead and take a look at the final feature for the 1.20 update. That is, of course, the crafter. Now the crafter is kind of a confusing technical block. It's not as confusing as many will think it actually is, but it is not the easiest thing. For instance, this design right here, this was one that I spent a lot of time trying to make work, and I can't actually remember if this was fully my design. Actually, I think it is, because nobody else in their right mind who's actually good at redstone would put a freaking 6 2x3 hopper clock thing in there. But yeah, it's not the easiest. This one, I do not believe is my design. I do believe I took this one from Silent Whisper, so credits to him. But I'm fairly confident this bow design is mine. Anyway, pretty much how this block works is it will automatically craft things for you. So this is going to be great for condensing things like iron and gold farms down. So here, with this little setup right here, if I just go ahead and chuck in some iron, you're going to see the crafter is going to completely fill up, and once it does, it's going to spit out an iron block. Now this isn't like deleting or making any brand new materials, it's simply doing what a crafting table would do, but automatically, so you don't have to actually craft it at all. So this will be great in iron farms, gold farms to help condense down your storage, even slime farms, that'd be great. Another thing I think this will be great for is prismarine farms, because prismarine farms are so annoying. You get all the prismarine, but it never ever has a use. You don't do anything with the prismarine. You want the blocks, so this will automatically condense all of it into blocks for you. Now, granted, for things like dark prismarine and sea lanterns, you're going to need a much more advanced system like this one here. So what I set up here is a bow crafter, okay? So using some string and some sticks, you can go ahead and fill this system up right here. You put in the sticks, you put in the string, and only once both of these are activated will it start the crafting process. And once it starts the crafting process, you're going to have bows being dispensed. And then with these bows, I set up this machine over here. Like I said, I took this design from Silent Whisper, and once it has all the items required, it will automatically fill up the crafter and dispense a dispenser. Now, neither one of these I built with an off switch. It just stops when it runs out of the items needed. Also, this design is really quite slow. It could be optimized. Pretty much though, the crafter is a fun block, and it's going to help do automatic crafting for mainly mob farms, but if you want things like dispensers, which are really annoying to craft, this could also prove useful to you. But I'm going to do a more in-depth video on different crafter designs and how to use them and how you might implicate them later on, because quite frankly, the crafter is way too advanced for me to try and stick inside of this video here. This video is just about the basic features and how to get them. And the crafter is very easy to get. It's simply just a crafting recipe inside of your table. All you need is 5 iron, a dropper, 2 redstone, and a crafting table. Really not all that complex, but what you can do with it is truly amazing. But like I said, we'll go ahead and make another video later on for those features. Now, beyond that, of course, it has a lot. Of course, 1.21 has a lot of smaller bug fixes and nice features to Bedrock Edition. The 2 most notable features in my eyes are the day counter. So if in your world settings, you can now go ahead and activate a day counter. And when you turn this on, it appears just under your coordinates so you can see how many days you've played in the world. The other most notable feature is hardcore mode has finally been added to Bedrock Edition. As you see right now, I am in hardcore mode. You can see my hearts. I've got those beautiful hardcore hearts. And if you don't believe me and think it's just a texture pack, well, watch this. When I die, I won't respawn. That's right, I won't respawn. You know why? This is hardcore mode, and I'm not making it up. You ready for this? You still don't believe me? Check it. Game over. You fell from a high place, and my 2 options are to exit the world or spectate the world. Hardcore mode is actually being implemented in the next update for Bedrock Edition players, so I hope you guys get super duper excited about that as well. Anyway, that is going to be where we go ahead and end off this video. That is every single feature being added to Minecraft 1.21, which is coming out in just 2 weeks on June 13th. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider smashing that subscribe button and dropping me a follow down in the description. And if you're curious to go watch any of my Twitch streams, because those will be happening the second this update comes out, we're going to be spending a lot of time on Twitch gathering all these resources in my survival world. I will go ahead and link my Twitch account down below as well. Anyways, this has been Mr. Gaming Aquatic, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye!